What's going on, y'all? Sean of Math Swap Tutoring here with another video for you guys. This time on parallel lines and transversals. Parallel lines and transversals. This is a geometry concept that has a lot of definitions, but when you look at it close enough, it's pretty easy to kind of eyeball it and see what's going on. Okay. Now make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. All right. So first of all, what are parallel lines? And you've probably heard of parallel lines before, but parallel lines, and I'll go ahead and label put an asterisk by the lines that are parallel. These two lines that I have labeled with an asterisk are parallel lines because parallel lines are lines that go on forever and ever in either direction. Probably best for me to do like this, put arrows on them. Lines that go on in either direction without intersecting, without touching each other. So these forever and ever in this direction to the left, forever and ever to the right, these two lines never touch each other and they remain the same distance away from each other. That's what makes them parallel. Now, this line right here is what you call, is what you call a transversal. This is a line that intersects, um, multiple lines, or in this case, parallel lines at distinct points. So it intersects this um, top parallel line here, intersects this bottom parallel line here. Okay. And now what happens is when you have parallel lines that are intersected by a transversal, it creates several different angles here. And I've labeled the angles 1 through 8. Now, the thing about these angles is that whenever you intersect parallel, and that's the key, it has to be parallel lines with a transversal, then what happens is you create different kind of angles that end up either being congruent, sorry for that that there, or supplemental. So when angles are congruent to each other, that means that they're equal to each other. When angles are supplemental, remember supplementary angles sum up to 180 degrees. Okay. So that's what happens here. And so we have a few different definitions that are going to describe these angles based on the fact that again, you have parallel lines intersected by a transversal, and the different angles created by this situation will be congruent or supplemental. Okay. All right, first, corresponding angles. Okay. Corresponding angles are angles that are in the same relative position. Now, what does that mean? That means this. Now, remember, you have these two parallel lines here. That means that, with these parallel lines having a transversal crossing through them, if you look at the point where the transversal crosses each parallel line, you'll notice angles that are kind of in the same relative place if you look at one line and one parallel line and the next. For example, angle 1 and angle 5, based on where the transversal crosses them, are in the same relative position. So angle 1 and angle 5. You also have angle 3 and angle 7. Okay, then you have 2 and 6. And then finally, you have 4 and 8. Angle 4 and angle 8. Okay. Now, the thing about corresponding angles is that they are, and I'm going to use this. congruent. Okay. So these angles that are corresponding, that are in the same relative position, are congruent. All right. Now let's go on to which one do I want to do next? We'll do alternate interior angles. Now, I strongly encourage you to take notes on this and make sure that you can make sense of it. In other words, that you can read it, listen to it, and it actually make sense. Alternate interior angles are angles inside of, now interior inside the parallel lines that are opposite. Well, actually, how do I want to say this? Okay, yeah, I'll say that. Opposite, um, and on the other side of the transversal. Okay, I think I'm being a little redundant here. But like, so alternate interior angles, first of all, let me do this too. So this is the interior, which is between the two parallel lines. This is exterior because it's outside of this parallel line. This is exterior because it's outside of the other parallel line. Okay. So interior is between the parallel lines. Okay. So um alternate interior angles are angles inside in the interior of the parallel lines that are opposite and on the other side of the transversal. And so what I mean by that is, and like I said, I'm a little redundant with that definition, but what I mean is, so for example, angle 3 and angle 6. So this angle and this angle are opposite each other, okay? And of course, on the opposite sides of the transversal. And then angle 4 and angle 5. Okay. Now, the thing with these is that they are also congruent. All right. Now we'll talk about alternate exterior angles. These are angles outside of the parallel lines that are opposite. Okay. And so again, you have, and I just leave it there. I probably don't need to say, and on the other side of transversal, I just leave it there. So for example, um, angle 1 and angle 8. So the exterior and opposite. Angle 1 and angle 8, and then you got angle 2 and angle 7. Okay. And the thing about these is also that they are congruent. Okay. Now I'm kind of losing space here, but it's all good. So now let's talk about um consecutive interior angles. These are angles inside of the parallel lines Okay. So inside of the parallel lines and on the same side as the transversal. Okay. So angle 3 and angle 5 are examples, and then angle 4 and angle 6. Sorry that I'm kind of getting small there, but angle 4 and angle 6. Now, the thing about these angles is that they are supplementary. I'm just going to abbreviate. So angle 3 and angle 5 will total up to 180. Angle 4 and angle 6 total up to 180. Okay. And then finally you have, and I haven't always seen this talked about, but I talk about it here. Finally, you have consecutive exterior angles. These are angles outside of the parallel lines and on the same side as not as I said as down there too. Same side of the transversal. So for example, angle 1 and angle 7, angle 2 and angle 8. They're exterior and they're on the same side of the transversal. Okay. These also are supplementary. Okay. Now, keep in mind that we also have here um linear pair. Now, linear pair is something that has been talked about. I think I've talked about this before in other videos, but at least that's a concept that's been discussed before, the concept of parallel lines and transversals. Linear pairs are angles that are adjacent to each other, that means side by side, and when they're put together, they form a line and they form a 180-degree angle. So like 1 and 3, 5 and 7, 2 and 4, 6 and 8. Then you also have vertical angles, which are angles that are um they share the same vertex and they're opposite each other. Okay. And so um they're created by two lines that intersect each other. Okay. So like 1 and 4 congruent in vertical angles and congruent. 2 and 3 vertical angles and congruent. 5 and 8 vertical angles and congruent. 6 and 7 vertical angles and congruent. Okay, so those are a couple of other concepts that have been introduced before the concept of parallel lines and transversals, but you probably will see those again when you talk about this. Okay, let me know if this is helpful. If I need to talk about anything else, let me know so I can record another video. Thank y'all for tuning in and have a good one. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you need math tutoring or you need SAT math help, look in the description to find out how you can sign up today. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you stay in touch with Math Swap Tutoring on YouTube. Have a good one.